Hello and welcome to our Amazon Q4 update. This is our quarterly review of all the changes that have been happening in Amazon in the last 3 months, and we also look forward to the next 3 months. So, as ever, I'm joined by my colleague Tom, the Sancho Panza to my Don Quixote, the take take that however you will, Tom.
I think I'd rather be Sancho Panza, but there we go.
I don't know. Just a bit about us.
Well, I see myself as Robinson Crusoe and you as my Man Friday, but there we go.
Okay, well, we can argue about that later, Tom. We can argue about that later. Okay. Anyway, FendLab, right? We're a specialist Amazon agency. We're all about the brands. 15 years of Amazon selling experience. I ran my own e-commerce business on Amazon for many years, and selling on Amazon both in the UK and internationally. We specialize in full account management, so companies that we can work with over a long period of time to grow their sales, which is really Tom's speciality. We are great believers also in cross-border trade, and we think we get it right in the UK. Push that internationally. Amazon in particular, if you're selling on Amazon UK, Amazon US is 10 times the size. So you're silly. In lots of ways, you really should be starting with Amazon US. So, Tom, have you got anything to add to that?
No, 100% agree with what you're saying about international expansion.
I'd be upset if you disagreed with any of that. Right, without further ado. Okay, so these are firstly changes to fulfillment and logistics. Amazon is obviously every this time of year, Amazon puts surcharges on its products, so you need to consider that when you're sending out products. The surcharges go from October to January every year, or this year, in fact. And I think I've got written down here 10 pence per parcel and 5 pence per envelope. That's in the UK. This excludes oversize and the fast and small and light. What's it called? I can't remember anyway. The low price FBA, the stuff is below £10. I mean, really, if you're sending stuff up to Amazon, you need to be thinking about when to get your stuff up into FBA, because they get very busy over the Christmas period, and don't just expect to be able to send it, at the beginning of December and have it ready for Christmas, because they'll take quite a long time to process things. Also, consider this extra cost when you're doing your margin calculations. Tom, have you?
I would just say as well, we've seen with our clients, certainly last year, that over the busy period of Q4, it's harder to send up singles. So cases tend to be fine, but if you're sending out single units rather than cases, then you can quite often be told that there isn't warehouse capacity for that. And I've done experiments that I've turned the single box into a case, and that has gone through. So yeah.
Okay, so it's just yeah. I mean, the Amazon system, they get absolutely swamped in Q4, and everyone's swamped. So from your own sanity point of view, and also from the point of view of getting the stuff up there, plan early. Plan early is always a good idea. Prepare to praise, prepare to succeed. End of FBA prep services. So if people don't know what that means, Amazon Amazon has a list of rules, and if you're using FBA, you should know what they are. A list of prep rules for products. So, for example, if you've got a product like a soft toy, for example, it has to go in. Soft toys need to go in poly bags, and they need to have barcodes on the outside. Now, previously, up to January, you were able to send these things into Amazon, and they would do the prep for you. But they would charge you, a reasonable amount of money to do it. But they would do it. Starting January 26th, they're going to stop doing that. And so if you're the kind of company that does that kind of thing, then you need to plan for that. And you've got a number of options. Either you can do it yourself. Really, preferably you'd get the stuff, made like that in whatever factory you're using, do it as you go along, plan for Amazon. So for example, we're working with a company that sells a magazine, and we got them to put the label, the FN SKU on the magazine immediately. Which saved them quite a lot of money, because it's 50p per item to actually get these things labeled. So either do it yourself, or you need. There's a number of companies out there that do prep work, who undoubtedly are going to be a lot busier than they were. So, Tom, any?
No, 100% agree with that. I mean, you save yourself. I think the trick is, as you say, is look at your supply chain and make sure that the product comes through in an Amazon suitable, container, whatever that might be. So, cartons with windows don't work particularly well unless the window's got some kind of plastic over it. So
Yeah.
just try and get it right at the beginning.
What are the main rules? Polybagging, anything with the item needs to be covered. So if it's a product which has got like an open window in it, it needs to be polybagged. If it's anything can get dirty, it needs to be polybagged. They need to be barcoded. If you've got things which are delicate, they need special packaging. I think you got to be pretty careful sending delicate things to Amazon, just full stop, actually. But
yeah, there's a lot of specific. If it's particularly small, it needs special packaging. If it's an adult product, it needs packaging. That just check the rules and make sure you get it.
Well, I think what's going to happen is if you send the stuff up, then they'll send it back, or they'll reject it in some capacity. So you need to be, if you don't want that to happen, then you need to actually get on top of this, and you haven't got that much time to do it. Okay, so on-time delivery policy update. I mean, Amazon's going to get more serious about this. I mean, at the moment, there's so many metrics on Amazon. It's hard to know which ones are important, which aren't. But this is going to be a thing that they're going to start suspending products, suspending accounts over. So what they're going to expect is from September, I think. So starting September, they'll expect you to maintain a minimum 90% on-time delivery rate. And starting in October, as in on the 16th of October, let me just say, so they're going to be sending out warnings, but I think there's going to be no actions taken until February. But this is just a thing so you need to make sure that, that you are up to scratch on these metrics. You need to be using the right, and if you can't, ask yourself some searching questions, use a 3PL, use FBA. But Amazon, Amazon is getting more serious about on-time delivery, because that's what Amazon's all about. Why not use FBA would be my advice, Tom.
I'd agree. The only thing to add to that is for sellers, if your account health rating is above 250 for more than 6 months, you get what's called account health assurance, which means they won't close your account down.
That's on the next slide.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, stop me there. I didn't read ahead.
So okay,
go ahead, Trevor.
Okay, virtual multipack. So this is in the US, right? They're going to be using a virtual multipack, which means that you'll be able to create listings which you've got. At the moment, if you want a multipack, you have to send them all over to Amazon. What will happen now is you'll be able to say, at the moment, I think it's an automatic thing, but they're just choosing products and creating multi-packs. But they're going to be slowly rolling out in the US, and undoubtedly other countries are a way for sellers to create virtual multi-packs. So people will just be able to buy like 4 of your products in one go, and Amazon will combine them for you. I didn't see anything in the news article I wrote that they would actually give you any kind of discount on the shipping, which I think Amazon does really nicely if people buy multiple products on FBA. So I suspect they won't be that generous. But yes, no action at the moment on that. It's just, I think it's a good development.
It's not a million miles away from the virtual bundles that you can create currently, which you can do those both in the UK and the US, and possibly other accounts too. But yeah, virtual bundles, it's the same kind of thing. This is putting different ASINs in one package to create a new product, and it's the same idea.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same ASIN as opposed to different ASINs. Pan-European FBA. I find this endlessly confusing. At the moment, if you want to, so Pan-European FBA means that you can send stuff into a single warehouse in the EU, and if you have an offer live in France, Italy, Germany, and Spain, you get the local shipping rate for those countries, even if your stock is based in another country. So it's a really good deal, and I think it's an amazing way of expanding into the EU now. So previously, you had to do France, Italy, Germany, Spain to get just pan. You had to do all 4 of them to you had to have a live listing on all 4 of those sites for your product to be eligible for those pan EU FBA rates. Coming soon, Netherlands will also be required, so there'll be going to be 5 as opposed to 4. countries. So you need to get, create your inventory in the Netherlands. Amazon's got tools to do that, for the international expansion tool. Netherlands is a great little marketplace as well. I mean, it's all gravy. It's only going to mean additional sales. But that is coming up. I think that's already required. In fact,
It's already required. It is
already required. So maybe this update's a little bit late. Commingling, finally. So commingling is where if you have products, what was happening is if you sent for products that were competitive ASINs, if you sent in products, then Amazon would just would send in 10 threaded fireflies, and Amazon would put them all in a box and then just take one out and not try and track who it came from. And this caused problems because what would happen is some people would send in fakes, and you could be sending in real products, and then someone else would and you get fakes delivered to your customers. So people hated it. Anyway, it's Amazon's got better at tracking products, and so commingling's ending. It won't happen anymore, which I think is good news if you're the kind of company that affects. So yeah, Tom, any thoughts on any of that?
Not particularly. I'll jump back to the Pan EU FBA, and I just say if you have a look on the Pan EU FBA page, it will show you, whether you're getting the benefits from Pan EU FBA. So you can look ASIN by ASIN, and it will tell you exactly whether it's qualifying or not. So, it can take quite a lot of work to get it right, but the benefits are worth it when you do. So just go through that and just make sure you've got the right listing set up in all the right countries, and you'll get the benefits.
Mighty fiddly. And it's mighty. Right, Tom, over to you.
Okay, so a number of things under the headings of advertising and growth. Business FBA discounts. So business, I would recommend that all of you set up business discounts, especially if your product is likely to be bought by any kind of business. It means that people can get an invoice and you can give a discount. You can give either a straight discount to businesses, or you can give a multiplied discount to businesses. Now, if that discount is worth more than 3%, then Amazon has a kind of rolling scale of discounts on the FBA charges that they will charge. Now, on average, these come out to about 50p an item. It depends on how big your discount is and what size package. So bigger, more expensive packages to ship get a bigger discount, and how many units your customer buys. But they kind of average out at about 50p an item in the UK. So worth having. I mean, no one's going to suddenly get rich from it. But
they don't give you much, Amazon.
They don't give you much, but it's better that you have it than the man. So I would recommend you look into it. Trevor, anything to add on that?
Oh, I think I agree with him. And I think, for everyone who sells on Amazon to shut up Amazon business, because there's just no reason not to, right? Whatever it is. I mean, it could be some businesses sell a huge proportion of their stuff to businesses. So if you're, I don't know, a plumbing supplier, it'll be mostly to businesses, right? But even if you're selling toys, you'll sell some to businesses. I when I was running my nursery business, we sold like 1% to business, something which is nothing really, but it's still 1%. And it's 5 minutes work. So you're silly not to do it.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, Prime exclusive deals. So Prime exclusive deal is a deal that's exclusive to Prime members. It used to be that they were, the Prime days. You had Amazon Prime days in July, October, obviously the Black Friday one. It used to be that they centered around those, but now you can do them anytime. So, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure why you'd only want to offer a deal to a Prime member as opposed to everyone. But for some people,
I think it's because Amazon wants you to offer Prime. Because Amazon wants you to offer Prime deals to Prime.
But so, to be honest, we tend to do deals for everyone. But there you go. It's an option. It might be a part of your kind of marketing arsenal. Who knows? Flexible customer financing. This is like, my mind's gone absolutely blank.
Klarna. With high
Klarna, but
bar.
on Amazon. So you can offer your customers to buy, to pay in installments over a period of time. Um, uh, it's certainly worth trying. I mean, you see Klarna on just about every website now, and anecdotally, it works well even at lower ticket items. But I would certainly recommend trying this on higher ticket items. We've tried it on a customer, on a client of ours. To be honest, the uplifts weren't 30%. They were somewhat smaller than that,
So
but
I, yeah, I don't know where I got that from. Yeah, that's what Amazon
but
says. So
people certainly took it up, and it's certainly worth experimenting with it. But
who pays for
to
the
be honest, I
financing?
can't remember the cost attached.
Yeah, I can't remember the
Go on.
cost such either. Who pays for the financing? That's a good question, actually. Whether it's
You do as the client.
you do as a
So
client, okay.
as
Wait,
as a seller, it's again, it's like Klarna. Fundamentally, you pay a fee which varies depending on how long the whole period over which the payments are being made is, and you pay kind of a one-off fee, and that covers the interest that whoever's providing the financing.
you do hear that these things do. I mean, I think as you say, it's worth trying. When you do hear it, supposedly, people put this, put financing on their on their website, and their sales go up significantly. Whether I mean, I think it's a bit like Amazon Business, isn't it? It's definitely worth trying.
Definitely worth trying, 100%. Okay, AI-powered advertising tools for SMEs. I mean, they're not just for SMEs; they're for everyone. But Amazon, like everyone, is bringing out more AI-powered tools. So you might have noticed just generally that they're suggesting changes to your listings. They brought out more in the way of advertising tools. Amazon have lagged behind Google. If you've used Google, you can set up a Performance Max campaign, and it will get you a rate of return that is very hard to beat by any kind of manual methods. So Amazon is still quite a long way behind, but it's catching up. And you can use the advertising tools to both create ads and to optimize them, to bid for you. So there's quite a lot. I'd say have a play. It has made life easier for people who are not Amazon marketing specialists. That said, I don't think Amazon advertising is yet a place for amateurs to have a play. I think, where we've taken over accounts where people have tried that, it's been very easy for us to beat their results. And, typically, it is manual, and typically amateurs don't do particularly well on it. That's what I'd say. Trevor?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's inevitably always. We're going to talk in the next slide about AI tools. I mean, it's AI tools are all you just can't get away from them these days. But I mean,
No,
as ever,
there's a bit of both.
you can't look at these things uncritically. You've got to actually understand what it does, and and just
Yeah.
and monitor the results, because they can just produce AI in general can just produce total garbage.
Yeah. And even Google, I mean, when we ran Google campaigns, we've seen that sometimes they do really well, and other times they just lose their way, and the results get worse and worse over time, just as the
And you just say
algorithm
sometimes you
loses
just
it.
have to start it again. I mean, I've been playing with ChatGPT, and it
Really?
just if you put the wrong instructions in, it'll just grind to a halt for no
Yeah.
particular and for no particularly clear reason. It won't tell you why. It'll still claim it can do things. Oh,
Yeah.
it just
Agreed.
made my
Okay,
life.
moving on.
Yeah.
MCF expansion. MCF stands for multi-channel fulfillment. So this is where you have a pool of stock at Amazon FBA, and that stock is used not only to service Amazon sales, but also your website sales and any other things. So in the past, if you wanted to connect Shopify to that, and obviously Shopify is probably the most popular website platform, you had to use there's some third-party tools that sat in between Amazon and Shopify. They work pretty well, but Amazon has now expanded it and now has built-in functionality to support Shine, Shopify, and Walmart. So MCF is certainly worth looking at. We don't actually have any clients using it at the moment. A number have threatened to look at it. You, it can only use what you've got available through FBA. So quite a few of our clients have a wider portfolio than they have an FBA. But, it's certainly a good idea to have one pool of stock. Trevor, you're jumping ahead.
It's the wrong thing. Yes, I mean, I don't know. Looking at this, I don't know. It's only Walmart certainly used to say that you couldn't use Amazon FBA, as MCF to fulfill orders to it. So I don't know what Walmart's viewpoint on this is. Presumably, if it's a Walmart, then you can. Amazon normally sends out boxes in Amazon branded stuff, and I think these Walmart didn't want that. So maybe they, hopefully, maybe they send out blank boxes. You'd hope. So check if these people will actually accept. You can actually what their point of view on it is before you.
May make a declaration by Amazon. Who knows?
Well, certainly. Obviously, Shopify is your own site. You can do what you like. Walmart, they used to say you couldn't use MCF. So whether that's changed or not, I don't know. I mean, obviously, things to if you're maybe if you care about how your things are sent out, then Amazon will send them out one way. And if you want to have a nice box opening experience, then that's not really what Amazon offer. But it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't. The pricing I've looked at tends to be on the high side of things for MCF.
I agree. We looked at it. We looked at it for a client recently, and this was for the US, and they were paying for their products. FBA was about $3.50, and the MCF for their website sales was literally double that.
But the problem is also Amazon will also charge you per product as well, so you don't get any discounts for multi.
There are discounts for multi-buys actually, but they're not huge. That they take more of the benefit than you do. But have a look. It's a good way of entering.
If you got stock in there already. Okay. Some stuff about seller tools and account management. Image Manager. So Image Manager helps you manage your images on Amazon. The new dashboard helps you see where your images come from and actually which images are being used. So, if you've got a listing, which is an old listing and Amazon's taking data from lots of different places, then you can see where that data came from and which images you actually supplied. So it gives you transparency on the image origins. You can see here whether it's basically a merchant under your partner account, a vendor under your partner account, or another selling partner. That's the kind of details it will give you. Where Amazon takes its details for its listing is just a total black box, and I think one of the worst things about Amazon, in one of the most annoying things.
Especially images where it's quite key to have the right image, because people tend to look at the image, and if what turns up isn't the same as the image, you've got to return. And we've certainly, it's quite often where you've got, the account starts in the UK, you expand into the US, and you find just wrong images appear. And, it can be very hard to actually remove them from the account. So this is much to be welcomed and should really help.
Yeah. Account health assurance, Tom. This is where we come into your special. Would you like to do this one, Tom?
I feel like I've covered it already, but this is a good, in that, one of the complaints that a lot of people have about Amazon is they can be a bit gung-ho at just closing down your account. So for sellers who've got an account health rating over 250, which you don't get immediately, it takes a while to get there. It's a combination of sales and being compliant with policies. Once you're over 250, then they won't just close you down.
For at least 6 months, no more than 10 days below this threshold.
There you go.
And you have a valid emergency contact number on file, you'll be automatically enrolled in this.
Yeah, so that's a key point. You're automatically enrolled, and it does give you just a little bit of peace of mind. And certainly, we've got clients who, when they've qualified, they've just heaved a bit of a sigh of relief. So yeah, good to have. And clearly, Amazon have listened to complaints.
I'll just give a few more points in it, right? So, okay, you need to have an emergency contact number on file. My issue I've had with emergency contact numbers on files is you just get rung by them all the time about ridiculous things, but hopefully they got better at that. when you encounter an issue that otherwise would lead to account activation, an account specialist will reach out to you and explain what the issue is and how to address it. Now, my experience with these people is that they'll ring you up and they'll go for a script, and you'll just have to listen to it and just have to actually just take it on the chin and agree with them, no matter how annoying they are. And it'll be pretty annoying, or could be quite annoying. Just have to and just apologize and agree to do whatever they say. And so it says, as long as you respond within 72 hours and you work with them, with Amazon to resolve the issues, then your seller account won't be deactivated. So, and if your account gets deactivated, it can be very hard to get it reactivated. So it's best to go through the process, I'd say. Tom, is that?
Nothing more to add.
So, okay, simplified seller feedback. So it used to be that if you left feedback, you had to leave a note, and you don't need to do that anymore. So you could I think you need, so if you leave a 1-star review, you have to leave a reason. But other than that, the note is optional. So it makes it much easier. I suppose that it'll also make it more difficult if people, because if someone left a 1-star before and they left a product review, or like a 2-star, for example, and left a product review, then you could get them removed. But now if they just leave a 2-star, there's nothing you can do about it. So it is actually, in a way, it's going to make it harder to manage, feedback. We're talking about, is this seller? So this is seller feedback as opposed to product feedback. So this is for the merchant and not for the product. So it used to be that if it was a product review, you could get it removed. But that was what they said in the note. Now you won't be able to do that because it'll just be a star. If you use things like FBA, seller feedback isn't a big problem anyway. It's only if your FBM, because with seller feedback, with seller feedback, if most of it is to do with the delivery, because that's really what people get bothered about. And if you're doing FBA, seller feedback isn't really a problem. I don't think we've had any problems with seller feedback in our clients, have we, Tom? They don't even look at it.
No,
I used to have big problems when I ran my own business, but then I had lots of different products and selling all over the world and stuff. Finally, new Seller Central experience. If you look in, so there's all kinds of changes in Seller Central, both in the kind of normal experience, and they've got it. And if you look on the top right hand corner, it's got the next gen experience, which is a new experience, and they're going to be bringing in AI tools, etc. In the States, they've got something called the Seller Assistant, but I don't think they've got it in the UK yet. Which is an AI powered tool built on agentic AI. So the assistant is designed to simplify navigation and automate routine tasks. So it'd be interesting to see how that works. Have you seen any comments on Seller Central recently, Tom?
It has improved, and to be honest, I wouldn't say massively useful changes, but certainly a step in the right direction. I find the most useful thing actually is it now highlights in red products where your selling price is below your minimum price, for instance. And that's really useful because it jumps out and it's much easier to get those. So, it's a step in the right direction. Continual evolution by Amazon.
They slowly get better over time, but they slowly add complexity. Things get easier, but they also add complexity all the time.
Yeah, I think the net is increased complexity over time rather than reduced, but all these things are welcome. Okay, Q4. Obviously, Q4 for most, but not all retailers is biggest time of the year. We certainly got some where summer's bigger than Q4. But it does depend on, obviously, your product range. But there's two big selling opportunities. Obviously, the Prime Day in October. They don't announce a date until quite close to the event, but everyone knows it's happening. And we've certainly seen on some of our accounts a slowdown in sales, which I think is consumers waiting for Prime Day deals. And then it always feels not long after October Prime Day, you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Despite the closeness in time, we often see that the spike you get in October can be higher than your Black Friday, Cyber Monday spike, but it is only generally for a day, whereas the Black Friday, Cyber Monday spike is usually over 4 days. And obviously depends on what promotions and general kind of promotional activity you're running. So in terms of recommendations, make sure your listings are optimized. If this is an important time of year for you, and it probably is, then, get everything ready now. You still got time to, tweak your listings, get your best photos on there, get your best words, do some A/B testing. You still got time. Plan your promotion and deals in advance. Now, obviously, if you're doing an Amazon deal, you can only be invited and you have to do it in advance. You've still got time to do the Black Friday, Cyber Monday ones. You haven't got time to do Amazon deals for October. But you could still do promotions for the October Prime Day if you're running your own promotions. And there's various ways of doing that. One for maybe another podcast. Think about your advertising strategy. In particular, just highlight that cost per click tends to increase over these periods, and sometimes quite a lot. And we've certainly got accounts where the cost per click will maybe go up by between 50 and 100%. So if you're not bidding at the right level, then there's a chance your ads might not be shown at all. So just make sure you get that right.
The conversion rate goes up as well.
It almost certainly does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And prepare for customer service and returns. So make sure you have got the staff in place. And I'd say probably the other point to add to this is make sure you got the stock. You haven't got time for October. You might just have time to get stock in for November. But yeah, it's criminal to run out of stock at these times of year. I'm sure you've thought.
Yeah, it's a good point, because the first thing we were mentioning in the first slide about FBA, the price of FBA go up. I think that you need to make sure you've got enough stuff in FBA and don't leave it to the last minute.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should, I would say the best time to prepare for Q4 is in January. So maybe we should do this slide every presentation.
Yeah. And especially for, seasonal businesses, if you've got anything gifty, this is going to make or break your year. Now, I remember in a previous life, I was involved in a jeweler, and they made all their profit for the year and more in December. November broke even. The other 10 months of the year, they lost money. So if they had a bad December, it ruined the whole year. So
I had a neighbour who made hampers, and he made all his money in December, all of it. Spent the rest of the year making them and losing money.
Yeah,
and then and did it made all his money in December.
Yeah,
great. That's it. If anyone would like to have any questions, now's the time.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.